Hey, welcome to the Borough. I'm V, and welcome to my spring college art of 2024. Yeah, let's go. Apparently, one of my professors from last semester saw the video I posted, and he told me about it. He was like, "Oh, I saw your YouTube channel. Like, you posted your art. It looks good." And I was like, "Oh, oh." Like, I appreciated the compliment, but I also do gaming stuff on here, and I struggle to talk really bad. I will try to have this video way shorter and more organized than my other semester. This is our first animation. It was a group project between me, Angelo, Arwin, Iso, and Madison. This was a test, so we had no real lighting. Which is why you see a lot of flickering. Angelo wanted to do a Mario style 2D platformer. I think everyone else was pen party, because we have such a variety of strange writing utensils, like this syringe pen. I think it's really cool. Since this was our test animation, it was our first attempt. We had the option to either try again or make something completely different. And we decided to make this little fishing thing. I will have this posted, so I'm gonna keep talking about it instead. This is definitely the most group projects I've had to do for class. It was fun. The great thing about group projects is that there's so many ideas coming in, but the bad thing about group projects is there's so many ideas coming in, and we never know. It's hard to pick and choose like what exactly we want without like pushing other people's ideas out of the way. Also, the video was edited by Angelo, or It's Jolo on YouTube. Go sub to them because they're very cool. This is our third project with me, Madison, and Arwin. Yeah. I think we only had 2 hours to animate because we spent like an hour or so or more just trying to set up the cameras. The lights do flicker a bit, but I kind of feel like it fits. It's just one of those little singing wall fishes. I don't really know what to call him, but he sits in my room. I kind of want to frame him on my wall, but I haven't found like a nice box for him to be in. I do like this one. It was fun. I love this little fish guy. This was literally just, and this ended up being like a whole thing where we just drew fish for like a hot second. Here's some behind the scenes stuff. We named the fish Frank Ocean, by the way. I was I had like I was really tempted to just like squash this little guy. Look at our setup. It's amazing. It was mostly done by Armin, our like expert, because I had no real clue how to do lighting at the time. These are the fish. Yeah, this is mine. Trat, apparently. I love my thumb in the corner. Anyways, I think it might have been Armin who suggested we just keep doing fish, so I don't know, kept doing fish. If you've been here before, you've probably already seen my other video, maybe Party at Club Bug, which was my 4th week project, paper animation. Also, welcome back, or welcome for the first time for some people, I guess. I don't know. I think most of the time was spent just making the puppets. That's literally just the loop book from Lethal Company. Rewatching it made me realize that I forgot to erase some pencil marks, like in the green bugs. But, it gives them character. I don't think I had lighting for this either. No, I did! You know what my setup was? My setup was whatever. Oops, okay. Also, this song is stuck in my head. I literally listened to it for like a week straight while I was working on this project. I didn't get any process shots because the way I had my setup was the camera was angled down, and on the camera stand was my phone with the flashlight on, and that was my lighting for that project. But I do have a picture of all the bugs on the table before I started recording. I just so happened to randomly get a bug sticker from one of my teachers, and I was like, this is perfect. I could use them for my little bug party. And that created the ending. Also, the chair broke. I didn't break it. It was just already broken and like shoddily put back together. I think all of those chairs were shoddily put back together because it would always be like a little wobbly. This was the pixelation animation, which is just, I don't really know. I think it's just having a human person, and I decided I wanted to be that. Like I wanted to be like a little weird trail cam thing, and I honestly just wanted an excuse to crawl around and be kind of creepy. Um, I edited part of the video, I think, just to fix the timing, and then I think Madison is the one who added all the visual effects and sounds. I was just honestly kind of a little lost. I felt like I was missing something, and I feel like Madison really pulled it together. Yeah. I completely missed the first part of class when this was due, so I have no idea how people reacted, and I didn't get to watch anybody's projects. There is the other version, which ESO edited, so it's a lot more red, which I kind of do like. I have no idea which one to post, if I want to post this one. Our midterm was, I think, a 5 week long process where we would make and then animate the puppet. Because we were all trying to learn how to make a puppet, it took a ridiculous amount of time. I think the only thing is that it was supposed to be somewhat human shaped, but my brain was like, I want a long, weird shaped Teletubby Fall Guy thing instead. This was literally our drawing board between like me, Arwen, and probably somebody else. Here's our other half of the whiteboard. Really attempted to do like a humanoid bird, like either a crow or a goose. I think for 3 weeks we were sent home with like a list of materials that we needed by like a couple by either Friday or Monday. No, Friday or Tuesday, depending on what day we were given it. And a lot of us did not have time to get the materials, and especially not every week. That's the only problem I had. I wish they had given us a list of what we needed for each week at the start of the project so that we could just get everything in one go. So I didn't have to keep going back and forth between the store and the school and like panicking because I didn't have everything. Which it didn't even matter because as long as someone had it, they were usually generous enough to give some away. Oops. This is basically the frame for all the puppets we had built, just to keep them simple and like because we were all beginners, they're like roughly about the same. So we started off with like twisting wire like 3 or 4 times for the spine, and then there's another 2 pieces which became the legs and the arms, which we bonded together with the pro epoxy. It smells like sewers basically. It smelled really bad in the class. Then we had like a smaller wire for the hands, which we twisted like I don't know how many times, but we bent them to have like 4 fingers. 5 would be a little different. I think after that we made the bones, which we used were we made out of like toothpicks, broken toothpicks. We like cut off the ends so they weren't pointy, and then we cut them to the size of the like forearms and the upper arms and the legs and thighs. So basically, it would keep them from moving all wiggly like basically. We wrapped the toothpicks to the wire with dental floss basically, and then on top of that we put super glue and then I think baking soda or baking powder on top, which basically don't know what it did. It just super glue is really hot. I think it just caused a chemical reaction and possibly made it dry a little faster. I don't know. After that we had to buy brass tubings, which is at the very top. It goes into the neck or on the neck and into the head, which basically allows you to replace the head if needed, or replace the body if needed. The head would stay the same. unless you had interchangeable heads, I guess. Um, which allowed for me to put Arwen's bear head on my puppet body. Right now, you see, we've also like wrapped it with foam. And I don't remember what kind of foam, but a lot of foam. I think the foam we used for the head was like insulation foam or something, like pink. All he's told us was pink foam. I don't think I ever got the right one, which was whatever, I guess. But basically, this could be like cut down and sanded, and it would be fine. But you would stick. It was like an inch thick, I think, and then you would stick two pieces together, cut it down, and then we would leave a slit for the brass tubing to go in, and then we put more epoxy to fill in the gaps between the tubing and the hole. To finish out the eyes, we made sockets within the pink foam, and then we rubbed these little eyeballs in Vaseline and basically built some propoxy. We put propoxy around the eyeball, but basically enough to just keep it in like in a, and then we would rotate the eyes to make sure they actually spun. The pink wrap you see is sports wrap. Um, it's basically used for skin and flesh. The sports wrap would eventually be used to be painted over, with liquid frisket and then acrylic paint mixed together. I forgot, a lot of it was rubber cement for gluing everything together, like the foam onto the puppet. He's just a little guy. I love him. I kind of he definitely does not look like what he originally is supposed to, you know? Like, here are some random doodles that we did instead of our work. Drawing Pokemon from memory and Bowser. Probably because we didn't really know what we were gonna do with our puppets, or we didn't have the materials for them at the time, so we couldn't really do much. This is my favorite drawing of all time for right now. This is it. Like, I will never ever like get above this. Honestly, here is Jeff, and here's my guy. He's such a he's a little business guy. He has a little suitcase and everything. It's very cute. This is from the test motion, stop motion. Apparently, whatever putty we used, whatever we used for the head is incredibly toxic, and I didn't know until after I was like, yeah, I don't need gloves because who needs gloves, you know? Like, what's the worst that can happen? Like, my hands will get dirty, okay, and then my teacher is like, oh, that stuff is gonna like seep into your nerves, and then yeah, and I was just like sitting there staring at it with my with my bare hands, you know. It's okay. This is the non-edit version of the test run. Madison had already finished her puppet and had already started walking it, and then I decided to bust in and be like, "Hey, can I put my puppet in there?" And she was like, "Okay, sure." And then Arwen finished her puppet, so now that's in there at the very end. Because it is the unedited version, it's a lot faster than the quote unquote Blueberry update loaded. I think the zoom in is so nice. I wish I do wish the timing of some stuff is a little different, but overall I'm proud of what we've done. This shot was purely accident, or this picture was purely accidental of what we got just by like messing around with the program. He's just a little look. He still has the eyeball in his hand. Oh, you know why he has eyeballs? It's because lost. I think I might have lost the first two that I was given, and then I found one after I asked for another pair, and I put them in. I found another another eyeball on the ground, so I was like, oh, I'll just keep it, I guess. I think, yeah, it's still in its hand. I don't think I have a face cam, but if I could, I would show you. Maybe if I just searched up a camera. Searched up and opened my camera. Here is him. His eyeball is stuck, so he does just look like this. He's my favorite little guy. He's surprised. Well, We were told that they would break, but he's fine. Look at him. Just as messed up as the rest of my life. He's so cute. I love him so much, and he just sits like right off to the side. But yeah, look at him. He's just a little guy, a little traumatized, but you know. I don't think I have stuff. There are some screenshots though of this is what the set originally. Well, we got these lovely little sets from Inigo. My brain is blanking. I think they already had these little sets before from some other project, which was really nice for them to lend it to us. They did help us with some of the animation. Um, it is definitely all over the place, which I think is fine. It's silly. They're just silly little guys. Look at you. His head was so massive, like he could not support himself. The bear also had no fingers, so he like couldn't hold anything. I think he does hold the cup in the thing, but he just kind of it's kind of like stabbed. I don't remember what happens, but he's so lovely. I don't think I ever included this shot in here, but it's it's very silly. He's just a little guy. At some point, he started to look a little weird, a little scary, so I just kind of pushed it and made him progressively worse. But I love him. He looks awful here. Like I decided to make the eyes worse, and then with the head, I think my teacher's like, "Oh, you could smooth that out if you want to," and I was like, "I don't. I kind of like him looking like this. It just adds so much personality and character, you know." Here's him. He accidentally like smuggled into my backpack because I took out everything else I brought for school. Oh my god, I looked over and he's like holding his arms out. Put them down, please. Um I packed like my laptop and everything beforehand and I just like put everything on top of him. I didn't even realize he was in my bag until I took out my laptop for class. Yeah. But this is the set we ended up with. Yeah, well, there's a lot of these chicken boxes are so cute. This doesn't make any sense. It was like we had no real idea of what we were doing. So originally, I think originally it was just gonna be a because we had the idea of a sitcom like while we were making the puppets. Like they'd be like really weird friends, but not really friends, hence the name acquaintances. Like they're normal, right? And then there's just that guy in the corner, right? He's just the scale is strange. Like these couches were definitely not made for them, so, and I think it kind of works. Like they're just weird, strange beings. If you looked around the class, it's like, oh, everybody's puppets look like their friends, you know? Like you can tell how you can tell why they like talk to each other because like their tastes are similar and that shapes their puppets. Like our puppets are weird, but I feel like they fit together really strangely. You know, if that makes sense. Originally we were just gonna do like a sitcom opening. I imagined they would walk onto screen, they would pose, and then their name would like scroll on to the screen, and they would do whatever, and then it would move on to the next person. I, I think that's enough fingers. That looks like him. Like, look at him. He's such a cutie pie. And then there's just like mine in the background, you know, just like standing in the corner, longingly. Long. He is so very long. This would be him. This would be his title screen, and then I don't know his name, so that's just how it would be. He'd just be in the corner. Yeah. We describe this after or the current during credit scene, like the Macy's photo shoot. I imagine he just showed up in their lives, you know, like they're lovers question mark acquaintances. It's really hard to tell, honestly. Um, I imagine that like the one where he takes out his eyeball is exactly why the show was canceled. It's because like yeah, he is very questionable, chaotic, aggressive, and he no longer has his eyes. Eye. I think originally what I had planned for my final project was for me to be in the animation, like it would be like a fourth wall break kind of, where I'm basically animating the puppet, and then as I go to unscrew the puppet, he's just gets up and runs off into the distance and he disappears. I don't know what changed my mind, but I was like, you know what, I'll just do a little armadillo guy, another paper animation. It'll be so splendid, and I kind of wish I did the other one because I feel like that would have been a little bit more fun. A lot of my time was really just spent making the paper and puppets. I definitely could have done a lot better. I think my time management was really poor. I wish I put more time into actually animating things. Like I would have retaken so many more shots. That chicken is so poorly lighted, but I do love this little scene. And right here, when he gets on the horse, that is. I think I definitely did a test day, but I just did not give myself enough time. This animation was the bane of my spring break. I think I had way more time to actually work on it, but I was more focused on, I don't know, my own self and my other classes that I put this aside, and I was like, yeah, I could do this in 1 week. This was for my history of animation class, where our goal was just to animate either a morning run, an afternoon stroll, or a sleepwalk. It just had to be in a style, an art style that we learned throughout the semester. So I based it off like the old cartoons. So basically, like specifically like Mickey Mouse's Steamboat, and then I think the Roadrunners Faster Furious, and then this just it just goes into abstract after that, which I think is fine. I did lose like a few hours of progress because my program crashed on me, and then I completely did not I didn't save anything at all that day. So I was like a mess for a week. This is probably like one of the few animations I actually clean up, sort of, to the best of my abilities. And then actually have a moving background too, which explains the like harsh cut between the two. I think it's fine though. It looks nice end of the day. Like I am proud of this, but it is a little simple at times, which is fine. Onto junior project, which was like a semester long thing where I initially had planned to create a whole animation that was fully colored and cleaned up based on noodles, which is something I might have talked about before, but it was like a first year project. He's a ladle. It's just a little soup goose. So I started with like just looking at real geese and trying to like make goose ladle ratio like a, and then I moved on to experimenting with like human shapes, body types, which isn't my strong suit. This was probably my first rough draft of the guy. I did take time to make 3D models of some things just to have like a nice turnaround, like a reference to look at. And it honestly helped a lot. If I could model humans, that would be incredible. The 3D model I made turn sheets for the goose. And this was more just experimenting with head shapes. I couldn't really figure it out. And then like having him try to turn from front view was really kind of hard. But I think he looks pretty good. The front view is weird, but I think I do try to fix it. Like here are the different iterations over time. Here's some sketches from a different class to try to get me like familiar with the character. Like I should be drawing him a lot because I was animating him. This is his turn sheet, which he looks a little weird here still. This is my first sketch for the floor plan, which looks really skewed and wrong, but I was having a lot of trouble with like perspective grids and stuff. So I ended up making a floor plan for the the 3D a 3D version of the floor plan, which really helped out a lot because now it looks nice, you know? It looks nice. Um Here's some more doodles of him. He's just a guy. This is just like one of those point 0.5 pictures because I think they're very silly. This is the plan. This is the plan. The storyboard, the really really rough storyboards, and then I start to actually like redo the storyboards and shade them and everything. I fixed the face or whatever. Um, Here's just a little screenshot that I liked, and then more storyboarding and stuff. It's like I could go through them, but I also just have the animation ready. I also tried a new software for this project, which was OpenTunes, and it was a little challenging, I will say. Um, Sometimes the undo button doesn't work, but I'm not sure if I like it better. I do like it. I think yeah, I do like it better than Premiere Pro or Animate. I think you can do just as much and probably more, but it's just kind of buggy at times. Like the undo button will stop working, so I have to restart the whole program. And sometimes this is just basically like the last few weeks where a lot of like rough animation passes. It's just rough animation blocking, not even blocking, just like the putting the storyboard into animatic form. None of it's really timed because it is just 2 FPS, if that makes any sense. I don't know. I did take a lot of reference like pictures and stuff. Um, and used the floor plan when I could, when I did remember to, I guess. I won't talk about the next few slides too much because they're mostly just adding more frames, like finishing the rough story or rough layout of the animation. I think I did have like 3 files for the whole animation. It was like 40 seconds, and my other teacher told me it was like way too big and to cut it down to multiple scenes whenever the camera changes. This also like made him more ladle, which I completely forgot to do in the original pass. So I had to fix all the old drawings of where he's very small and short. Um, but yeah, and then I started rough animation. I had like less than a month to do the rough animation, but here it is. Yeah. I've from the final presentation, been told to like maybe add a scene in the start where he is actually cooking, so it doesn't just jump into the goose. I think everything is fine. I think it just also need to hold the like reaction frame. This frame a little longer, it's just so you could, and I th- I just completely forgot to like add the shadow of the goose just to have scale
understanding of where he is. He's just on the floor. But yeah, I think that is it.
Originally, I wanted to put noodles on a like TV show cooking style kind of thing, like a whole television set. I ended up deciding that it wasn't really worth having two extra people. I feel like the story could have just conveyed in the same way. I think also I was deciding whether or not to do a live stream for Richard here, but I think the chat didn't add. It would just be like people were responding in chat, but it didn't really add too much. The only difference would be like right here, the live stream would end instead, and that's what inspires the like the rare occasions where Noodles is caught on film, and then that's what spreads around like mysterious cryptid kind of stuff. I don't know. I'm not sure whether or not I should put him in an apron because right now he kind of just looks like Toji from Jujutsu Kaisen. But he was kind of like based off like some random TikTok thirst trap dude I saw. Um, I guess if you have any thoughts, any constructive criticism, just let me know in the comments. I will read them. Um, you're totally allowed to be like, yeah, I don't like this, and that'll be fine. Oops, I just bumped my mic. Anyways, on to 3D stuff, I guess. I had a lot of. I think I had more trouble this semester than I did last semester. I think the first thing was like a jump, which was not bad. I actually hate this little walker guy so much. It made me miss Norman. This is him. This is Norman, and I miss him so much. We never used him this semester, but he was. I felt like he was so much easier and so much more versatile. Like he had so much. He had so much to him, you know, and he had facial expressions and everything. Like his knees were nice. Like I wouldn't just like randomly lose his little knee bits and have to like fix them because he's like all bent backwards all the way in the back for some reason. But yeah, all he had to do was jump around a set. Um, I made this overly complicated for myself, and I do like it to an extent. There's like some things where it does like um glitch around a little, like right before it gets onto the couch. I think he just wobbles. I had to get reference for, which is probably why it looks decent. This was just arm overlap stuff. So this one was a very short week comparison to like the last one. I think I had a little trouble with the arms. Like it does peek, like go through the floor at times. The fall was hard. This is a take, which is just
Okay, so that's
changing
just
facial
the take
expressions.
thing.
This is Jeopardy!
Yeah. It is just lip syncing. Catwalk. This was a little funky too. Oops. Loop. Yeah. It is a little flashy, which I'll stop it then. Um, pretty cute. It was either this or like a human walk, and who wants to do a human walk? I like cat, but
It was just a little challenging to translate between the reference and model since they are a little different.
this is another like audio based
Name
one.
something you like your girlfriend to do to your face.
I'm gonna say sit on it.
Yes! Sit on it!
Yeah. This is probably like my favorite one from 3D just because it is so silly. Um, she did give us audios which we could choose from, or we could choose our own, and I chose my own because I thought it'd be kind of fun. I found the models off of like a free rig site, so they are just Fall Guys, so I just modeled.
The stage after like the actual game.
They're so cute. It was either that or like I think there's the creepers. I was gonna do an animal one, but there wasn't much I could do with the rig that it gave me, so I just went with the Fall Guy. I think this was just playing with the Arnold renderer. which was depth of field. It was kind of tricky setting it up because I didn't use one of the school computers that already had it set up. So I had to install it and everything, and it was just a little hard to find. It's not bad. I will show you my final project, which was to do, which was yeah, which was basically turning a few of her like storyboarded shots into like actual scenes or animating into actual scenes. The set is not made by me at all. I can't. The set was given to us. Oops. The only thing I'm like somewhat made was like this, just setting up the sky dome and everything, and then the animations are from me though. This is a little janky, I will say. This little run here, yeah. But from I was a little late in because it was a real struggle. I did lose some progress here again, but it wasn't too much. Originally, this is what I had turned in for the final. I had a little trouble importing the textures. Usually, you just like put in the file, or you'll have like a folder full of like, I don't know, 10, 20 pictures, and you put them into the source images. And I did that, and it never like registered it being in my source images. So basically, I have to grab each chunk and be like, hey, you're supposed to have this texture. Tired. Oh, I am doing commissions for a little, probably temporarily, but I have Ko-Fi commissions now. So if you're still here, I have post-it note drawings for only 2 buckarooskies for now. Yeah. That's it. Goodbye.